Hello everybody, it is officially time for TNA Genesis 2015. I, of course, am CR Daredevil, bringing you all of the live action here tonight. And we have a hell of a show to get to. We have the opening segment where Joey Styles, Taz, and Mike Tna welcome everyone to Genesis 2015. Before briefly running down tonight's card, of course, tonight's card, we have a lot of matches, including four different championships on the line. The TNA World Tag Team titles are on the line as the American Wolves defend against the Killer Elite Squad. We have the X Division Championship on the line in that triple threat matchup featuring Paul Lennon, the champion, defending against the former champion DJZ and the man who's been involved in a story with them for the last few months now, Shelton Benjamin. We have the Knockouts Championship on the line as Gail Kim defends against ODB. And, of course, the TNA World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Johnny Impact, the champion, defending against Bobby Roode, the, leader of Team Dixie at this point. We also have that 2 out of 3 falls matchup, Kurt Angle versus Ethan Carter III. And we also have the rematch from Bound for Glory, Chris Sabin and AJ Styles. Among other matches tonight. Should be a great matchup, or great show, that is. 74 rating for this opening segment, introducing everybody to the show. After that, we go to a Black Friday management video playing before Christopher Daniels has his matchup against Colt Cabana tonight. It's basically just a highlight video with Daniels kind of talking over it before he says the Black Friday management will destroy TNA once and for all. So nice little video package kind of help hype up Black Friday management here. Gets 75. Daniels comes to the ring and has a match with Colt Cabana, which gets a 67. They don't seem to click, so that sucks. But otherwise, pretty good matchup. 12-minute matchup to open up Genesis. Daniels getting the victory over Colt Cabana in 12-12 by pinfall with an Angel's Wings. I hated using Colt Cabana to have Daniels get put over like this, but he's someone who I know is a good worker who can help us, get a great opening matchup like this one was going to be, and there you go. I mean, even if they don't click, they still got a 67, so that's not terrible for an opening contest. In front of 45,540 people in the Metrodome in Minnesota. Obviously, TNA's never had that many people at a show in their entire time, but, TNA TW TW. After that, we go backstage where Rosemary has a bit of a video promo which talks about the disappointment in that Barbie doll Angelina Love disappearing. Love seems to have disappeared over the last few weeks and is not really around, so now Rosemary has to focus her attention on a new target. She then kind of pauses and cocks her head a little bit. I mean, if you've ever seen Rosemary's promos, you kind of know what I'm talking about here. But she kind of pauses and cocks her head a little bit as if listening to something before a smile creeps onto her face. She then says, yes, that one will do, before the video ends. So 53 rated segment, not too bad. But apparently Rosemary has herself a new target. We'll have to see who that ends up being. Just to clarify, Angelina Love didn't really it's not like she's quit the company. She's still trying to recover from her injury. And I figured at this point, I'd rather do different stories, so I'll still visit the Rosemary Angelina Love thing at some point in the future, but for now, Rosemary's going to focus on someone else, and then when Angelina Love is fully recovered from her injury, I have a little bit of a plan for her as well. So after that, we go to the ring for a kind of thrown together random matchup. Not really any story behind this. It was more just I don't want to say filler, because you don't ever want to have a filler match on a pay-per-view, but it was really just it's really just kind of an unannounced match happening here. But in a decent matchup, in just under 9 minutes, D'Angelo Dinero defeats Chris Hero in 8:47 by pinfall to DDE. 67 rating for the match. Pretty good stuff there. 61 from Dinero, 55 from Hero. I haven't really done a lot with these two recently, which kind of sucks because I brought Dinero in not even a couple of months ago, it feels like. But not really much going on story-wise for them right now, but I have potential future plans. I just have to kind of get through a few other things first right now. After that, we get a brief little promo from the Killer Elite Squad. Christy Hemme says that it's time to hunt and kill some wolves, while also mentioning that everyone is looking at the new TNA World Tag Team Champions. 46 rating for the segment. The match itself gets 63. That's not bad. Not bad at all. Lack of psychology on display. Kind of makes sense. A little bit, I guess. I mean, the Wolves don't really have much of a lack of psychology, but I guess the Killer Elite Squad probably do. Nevertheless, in a good matchup, the Wolves defeat the Killer Elite Squad in 10:24 when Eddie Edwards pins Lance Hoyt with a die-hard. Wolves make defense number 9 of the World Tag Team titles, so 9 defenses of those titles so far for the Wolves. They've held them pretty much the entire time that I've had this series going. The Bromans started off as the champions, and then within like a few weeks, the Wolves won them, and they've held them ever since. So, gotta imagine that they're gonna go kind of down as one of the more dominant tag teams in TNA history at this point, especially with just this one reign. Nevertheless, another victory here makes defense number 9 of the titles. Low 80 in-ring performances for the Wolves, which is great at this point. And 56 for both members of the Killer Elite Squad, which isn't too bad, honestly. But 63 here. After that, brief little promo interview, that is, from Shelton Benjamin, being interviewed by Veda Scott. He talks about how he's the best naturally gifted athlete here in TNA. Says that if Paul London and DJZ think they can team up against him, he'll easily take him out. Tonight he wins the X Division Championship and then goes on to cash in his Feast or Fire briefcase to become the TNA World Heavyweight Champion and be one of the few ever double champions here in TNA. 52 rating for the segment. Not strong, but it is what it is. But yeah, Shelton Benjamin kind of getting a little bit of confidence there. So he's going to be able to take out both men and win the X Division Championship. We're going to have to see how that plays out. And it does not play out like that. As in a 12-minute and 13-second matchup, Paul London defeats DJZ and Shelton Benjamin to make defense number 1 of the X Division Championship. London pinning Benjamin with a shooting star press during the matchup. DJZ was actually the weak link, which is kind of saying something. I mean, he's been getting better in the ring, but wasn't expecting it for him to be the weak link, really. Nevertheless, 72 rating for the matchup. Really good matchup there. 73 from London, 71 from Benjamin, 62 from DJZ. Got the crowd hotter, so that's obviously a good thing as well. But strong showing, strong matchup here, as Paul London able to retain the X Division Championship. And as was kind of announced with this match, when it was kind of originally booked, this is basically the end. DJZ, Shelton Benjamin, going to go off and do their own things now. Paul London will focus on other challengers for the X Division Championship at this point. After that, Magnus and Mickie James come down to the ring and talk about how 2014 was their year until peasants out there ruined it for them. Kind of referring to Johnny Impact and Gail Kim, who took their respective championships from them. They talk about their individual accomplishments last year and how, as, quote, your king and queen of professional wrestling, they deserve another shot at their respective championships. This leads to an interruption by Jay Lethal and April Mendez. Lethal calls out Magnus for ducking him here tonight. Remember, Lethal issued a challenge for a matchup here at Genesis, and Magnus said no. Magnus responds once again that Lethal is beneath him. Mendez goes to say something, but instead kind of just shrugs it off and just says whatever, and not like whatever, but just kind of throws the mic aside and charges the ring with Lethal right behind her. The four of them then have a crazy brawl that leads to some weapons being used. A table gets brought out, and Mendez ends up putting Mickie James through a table with a big elbow drop from the top rope. So completely crazy brawl happening as the crowd's going nuts for it. Tons of people are trying to pull them apart. This goes on for a good few minutes, just absolute chaos happening in and around the ring until officials are finally able to break things up. So clearly issues happening between these four people. We're going to have to see how that plays out in the future. 66 rating for this segment. After that, Team Kick and Jessie McKay are interviewed by Renee Young, and Evie mentions how they talked to Eric Bischoff and the Suffering, who kind of earned, unofficially earned a shot at the Knockouts Tag Team Championships, will be getting their rematch for the titles this Thursday on Impact, but that when they Team Kick defeat them once again, they will be moving on to other challengers. This causes the Suffering to show up, and Melissa says that they will be moving on only without the championships. Veterans of professional wrestling like they are do not deserve this disrespect coming from the young up-and-comers like this, and say that on Impact, they're going to teach them another lesson in the business when they take those TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships. So, a match announced for Impact this week. Knockouts Tag Team titles on the line. Team Kick versus the Suffering once again. We're going to have to see if we have new champions or if Team Kick are able to successfully retain and move on to another tag team. We'll have to see how that plays out. Then we get a brief little video hyping up the history between Ethan Carter III and Kurt Angle. 2 out of 3 falls match happening here tonight. Kind of been unofficially announced as the final matchup that these two are going to have of this whole feud. Obviously, they're probably going to have matches again in the future, but for now, this is going to be kind of the big blow-off to the feud, so to speak. And the match itself gets an 82 rating. My God. Kurt Angle defeats Ethan Carter III in 15-14 by 2 straight falls. Doesn't even let him get to a third fall. The final fall happening by submission with an ankle lock. EC3 unable to break the ankle lock and taps out. 82 rating for the matchup. 83 from Kurt Angle. 71 from EC3. Not too bad there. Not too bad of a rating for EC3 there. But nevertheless, Kurt Angle putting to bed this whole thing. Hopefully looking to move on from this feud with EC3 and move on to other things. I mean, it's maybe able to move on to different feuds and whatnot. We'll have to see how that plays out. But EC3 not able to get the job done here tonight. Now I'll have to kind of figure out what happens next for him, I guess, really. After that, that's weird that Jimmy Jacobs didn't do well without a script. Anyway, after that, Jimmy Jacobs is backstage when Brian Kendrick approaches him. Kendrick says that he can't believe that he has to carry Jacobs to the TNA World Tag Team Championships when the time comes to cash the briefcases in. Jacobs takes offense to this, and Kendrick says that Jacobs consistently can't seem to get the job done. Jacobs says that the same could be said about Kendrick, and they have a little bit of a back and forth between each other before Eric Bischoff shows up. Bischoff says that it sounds like they can't get along at all, before saying that he knows what will fix that. A match this week on Impact. Kendrick and Jacobs kind of look at each other, and Kendrick's like, okay, well, who are we facing? Bischoff goes, no, not who are you facing. There's gonna be a match this week on Impact between the two of you. Bischoff then walks off with a smile on his face, while Kendrick looks annoyed before kind of storming off himself. So, the two who can't seem to get along, who have a shot at the TNA World Tag Team Championships in the future, are not going to be having a match with each other this week on Impact. So, they can't seem to get along, but now they're going to be able to work out, potentially work out whatever issues they have with each other in a matchup. So we'll have to see how that plays out. 64 rating, though, is not too bad. After that, we get our matchup featuring Bryan Danielson defeating Abyss in 12:06 by submission with a no lock, or should be the LaBelle lock. I don't know why it said no, because I've changed it to the LaBelle lock, but whatever. 75 rating for the matchup. Danielson with a 79, Abyss with a 66. Great matchup there, as it really was like the monster trying to destroy him. Danielson came into this match hurt after the attacks recently on Impact, but he was able to overcome the challenge and get Abyss. We're not going to say he tapped out. We're going to say he passed out. He passed out in the no lock, or the LaBelle lock, really. So Abyss can't get the job done against Danielson. We'll have to see how that plays out in the future. Then we get a video hyping up the matchup between ODB and Gail Kim. Kind of looks at ODB turning her back on Madison Rayne in the Knockouts Tag Team title tournament. But it does go all the way back It goes all the way back to the Battle Royal that happened where Madison Rayne earned the shot at the TNA Knockouts Championship at Knockouts Knockdown. The issues between ODB and Madison Rayne, and then ODB earning a shot at the Knockouts Championship against Gail Kim. Kind of goes over a brief little bit about Gail Kim retaining the championship against Mickie James and against Madison Rayne before it leads to this matchup itself. Which gets a 73. Good match there. Is it about the head? Good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. ODB defeats Gail Kim in 11-16 by pinfall with a handful of tights after Madison Rayne accidentally hit Gail Kim during the matchup. ODB is your new TNA Knockouts Champion. So, surprising title change here, as ODB has claimed the Knockouts Championship that she's been trying to get for months now. 73 rating. Madison Rayne got involved because ODB looked like she was going to try to cheat to get the victory when Rayne showed up and ODB had a chair. Madison Rayne was fighting her with the chair, fighting with her over the chair, trying to pull the chair away from ODB, and in the process, Rayne was able to, not Rayne was able to, but in the process of fighting over the chair, ODB let go of the chair and it ended up getting swung by Rayne, striking Gail Kim. So, a chair got involved, caused Gail Kim to get hit, and then a handful of tights led to ODB as your new TNA Knockouts Champion. After the match, ODB is celebrating while Madison Rayne tries to apologize to Gail Kim. Kim, however, frustrated by the match result and what happened, pushes her aside and quickly leaves the ring. Rayne follows her as ODB continues to celebrate in the ring. So we have a new Knockouts Champion in ODB. We'll have to see how that plays out in the future. Obviously, there's gonna be some issues between Madison Rayne and Gail Kim now, or at least potentially issues there. ODB is still gonna be, the Knockouts Champion. We'll have to see how all of this plays out in the future. We then get a video hyping up Chris Sabin and AJ Styles, the months-long feud between the two of them, featuring the match at Bound for Glory, where Chris Sabin, some say stole a victory, but some others say cleanly won against AJ Styles. All of the build-up since then, with both men taking on people that the other chose. Consistently back and forth, promos, matches, everything leading to this matchup here tonight, which gets an 81 as AJ Styles defeats Chris Sabin in 14:59 by pinfall at the Styles Clash. Both men now 1-1 against each other in pay-per-view matches, at least in the save anyway. During the matchup, Alex Shelley distracted AJ Styles, but Paul London made a surprise appearance. The X Division champion made a surprise appearance and fought with Alex Shelley, which led to Chris Sabin getting a bit distracted as well. Styles didn't use this to his advantage to get the victory, but it led to Sabin getting distracted for a near fall at one point in time. The ending of the match though was clean. Both Alex Shelley and Paul London had gone to the back at that point, and it was a clean victory. But Paul London making his surprise appearance, which isn't too surprising if you think about it, because who's the person who has the briefcase, the Feast or Fire briefcase, to be able to cash in for an X Division Championship matchup? Alex Shelley. So maybe Paul London is trying to prepare himself for a battle with Alex Shelley before Shelley can cash in that championship, or the briefcase. We'll have to see. But Paul London coming to AJ Styles' aid here tonight, and Styles able to get the victory. 81 rating. Good match there. After that, we have a segment where Austin Aries is backstage when Jeff Hardy confronts him for not helping him out on Impact. If you remember, Christopher Daniels and Samoa Joe defeated these two men on Impact, and then Joe locked in the Coquina Clutch after the match on Jeff Hardy while the rest of Black Friday management stood there. Aries got up on the apron and then hopped down and ended up deciding not to help him out after all. Aries said that he may have respect for Jeff Hardy, but he's the smartest man in professional wrestling. He's not going to get in the ring and get his ass kicked when the numbers are against him. Hardy says that if the roles were reversed, he would have tried to help Aries, and Aries says that's why he's the smartest man in professional wrestling. He goes to walk away, but Hardy stops him from doing so, kind of grabs his arm, only for Aries to turn around and deck Jeff Hardy. As I drop my mic, Aries and Hardy end up in a brawl with each other. 81 rating for this. This is now kind of official that because of this is Austin Aries turning heel officially now. He got an adequate rating for his arrogant heel gimmick. It was a complete success, so this is his way of officially turning heel now. Obviously, it's probably, been kind of obvious that it's been building for a few weeks now. I thought about doing it during a match, but I figured that this was actually going to make more sense to do it this way. So, Aries officially heel, and the two are fighting with each other. We'll have to see what that leads to in the future. Then we move on to our main event as we get a video package hyping up the matchup. Bobby Roode getting that opportunity to challenge for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship after defeating his former tag team partner James Storm at Final Resolution. Johnny Impact, of course, his run through the Bound for Glory series and then winning the championship at Bound for Glory and successfully retaining it since then. The two men coming to a bit of a stare down on Impact, as they didn't really come to blows, but they had that stare down after the end of the debate this past Thursday on Impact, and now they have their matchup, which gets a 77 rating. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff there. Was hoping for slightly better, but you know what? I'll take it. It might be because of everything that happened, honestly. I want to go check that really quick here. Oh, the crowd's starting to get burnt out. Whoops. Lack of heat from the associated. Well, whatever. Anyway, in about that had fantastic heat and great wrestling. Johnny Impact defeats Bobby Roode in 1350 by pinfall with a Starship Pain. Match had a lot of interference. The first one can be kind of ignored there for a second, as Red Dragon showed up to try to help out their leader, Bobby Roode, and it was kind of a 3-on-1 battle until the Cowboy himself, James Storm, showed up to chase off Red Dragon and have Bobby Roode eat a super kick, or the last call, as it is. Johnny Impact able to get the victory in 1350 by pinfall with a Starship Pain, making defense number 3 of the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, which this is basically just Impact, Johnny Impact celebrating at the end of the show is how we end the show. We don't have a post-match segment at all to talk about. 77 rating. The match, or the show itself, that is, gets a 80. I'll take it. Increased our popularity in 11 regions, so that's good. I'll take an 80. Might not be one of our best ones, but I'll take it. So there you go. Genesis is in the books. 2015 TNA Genesis is in the books. New TNA Knockouts Champion in ODB. We have all the other champions that successfully retained their championships. We're going to have to see how things play out, as Austin Aries and Jeff Hardy are going to have issues with each other. Magnus and Mickie James are now having issues with Jay Lethal and April Mendez, or at least they have already, but now that really got furthered tonight. Jimmy Jacobs and Brian Kendrick, the two men with the shots at the shot at the tag team titles, are not going to be facing this week on Impact. It's so much to talk about with that. We're going to have to see why James Storm came out and helped out. We'll have to see where everybody else who had kind of had their feud-ending matches, so to speak, go from here. Where EC3 goes from here, where Kurt Angle goes from here. We'll have to see, everything else going on as well. Well, a lot of stuff to go. The ratings for the night didn't help the fact that we were going up against the Royal Rumble. So we only got second place for the night. 1.3 million viewers for Genesis, while the Royal Rumble had just under 5 million. And they even had a better show rating. But you know what? I'll take it. I will take it. Randy Orton defeated Triple H to retain the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Christian's your new Intercontinental Champion. They didn't even have a Rumble. They didn't even have a Rumble match. Whoops. The Royal Rumble 2015 featuring no Royal Rumble. Oh, man, that's funny. Well, there you go. The Royal Rumble happened and didn't even feature a Royal Rumble. So there's that. But yeah, not too bad of a showing from Genesis here, or from TNA, that is. Pretty good stuff there. Let's see if I can pull this up really quick for you. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. So actually, I was kind of wrong, because Genesis ended up being our second, tie for second for our best shows of all time. I thought it was pretty good, but I thought we had better shows, but apparently not. So TNA Genesis 2015 is technically our third best show of all time, if you want to count, because that episode of Impact and then Final Resolution both had an 81. So number-wise, it's tied for second, but overall it's third. So yeah, really good showing there. Can't go wrong with that. A lot of our stuff recently in the last couple months or so, they're at the top as TNA continues to grow and continues to have better and better shows, top matches. I don't believe we had any from. Oh, we did have, yeah. So we had the 2 out of 3 falls match between Kurt Angle and EC3 is now 9th all time, so that's a good thing. And AJ Styles and Chris Sabin is now 17th all time, so that's also really good there. Second best attendance of all time behind Final Resolution, but not the pay-per-view buy rate. It was only 2.61, which isn't terrible, honestly. I'm not going to complain about that. So can't go wrong with that at all. But there you go. Another strong showing from TNA Wrestling, as now we head to Against All Odds 2015, which, by the way, Against All Odds 2015 is set up in 13 days in game. So we have 2 episodes of Impact before Against All Odds happens. So more than likely going to be seeing a fair amount of rematches from Genesis happening. I already kind of have the card booked in my head. We'll kind of have it get announced and revealed on Impact, or on the next couple Impacts. But yeah, you can kind of fairly guess that a lot of Genesis rematches are going to be happening on the show, if not matches that are at least linked to things that happened at Genesis. So thank you for watching. Definitely appreciate it. And we will catch you guys next time.